What is up, DC fans, and welcome back to my channel. Very busy day today, a lot of trailer reactions and movie reviews, and this evening I'm going and seeing a certain movie called Into the Spider-Verse, but right now we are focusing on DC's television show on the streaming universe, and that is Titans. This is episode 9, an episode that I wasn't necessarily expecting. Last week's episode review, I said that, oh, next week's episode we're going to dig a bit deeper into Starfire, but sure enough, that's not what we did. We skipped over that completely and talked about Hawk and Dove. This episode is called Hank and Dawn. Very interesting premise. I was actually kind of excited when the episode started because I was interested in seeing their backstory, even though a part of me would like to get back to the main storyline. But let's talk about this episode. If you guys don't know how this works, I do go into spoilery details. I start at the beginning, just kind of work my way through. We can talk about it, and this is your space to comment. So leave your comments and like this video if you enjoy these Titans reviews. If you like them, I'll keep doing them. I've done one every week. So let's talk about this episode of Titans. So the origin story of Hank Hall and Dawn Granger's relationship and the loss in each of their pasts, this is what brings them together as vigilante superheroes, Hawk and Dove. This episode was way more interesting than I anticipated it to be. It deals with a lot of deep themes and things that, frankly, none of the episodes of Titans so far has dealt with. This is 1000% the most mature and adult episode. We deal with tragedy in people's lives. We deal with things that happen in people's childhood. And then at the end, we get to deal with, you know, Hank and Dawn, do a little Hank and Dawn stuff. This is a very mature episode, so it is not the Teen Titans that we are used to as children. But that's absolutely okay. I like how this show is going in a different direction. I like how it's dealing with things that we don't necessarily anticipate it dealing with, and I really like what they did in this episode. This episode surprised me. Some of the editing was a bit wonky in the beginning. When I say wonky, I just mean it didn't feel as concise and cohesive as I wanted it to. It went from plot point to plot point, and it didn't feel like it meshed together like some of the other episodes have.
We're already a few minutes in, and Austin's complaining about the editing.
Once again, if I just sat here and praised this show, it could get a bit boring, so why not spice it up and complain about things, right? And since we're talking about things that I didn't love about the episode, that car crash at the end, you know, the one that takes out two of our characters' most important people in their lives, I liked the concept, I just didn't like the execution. The problem that I had was that overhead shot with the really CGI-looking car. I think that could have been filmed differently and had a bigger impact, because when I first watched it, I was like, okay, what just happened? And I know maybe that's the effect they were going for because it was just unexpected like life actually is. So I liked that part of it. Just the way it was filmed and edited together, it just seems so quick to me. We didn't get to sit and let the moment soak in for just a minute, even though that's what we got right after. If they would have filmed it differently, I would feel differently. But that's just something else that I think is a pretty big issue with the episode. I know, I've complained. I need to stop and get back into what I liked, because there are some things that I absolutely loved about this episode. And we start with the backstories of these two characters. So much more interesting than I anticipated, and there's a lot there. Like I've already said, it deals with some very deep things, and we start with that evil man. This is something that is real. It happens to real people. It's not superhero or fiction or something that happens in a comic book. Real people are affected by pedophiles and crazy people who look up pictures of children. This is something that actually happens. So when I saw this happen on an episode of Titans, I was hesitant at first because it's not what we're used to in a superhero show, but I like that it's not afraid to deal with those themes, and I thought that part of the show was handled and executed perfectly. It made you cringe. It made you not happy when they ended up beating the guy to death, but you're sitting there like, yep, he gets what he deserves, bastard. So it's the tragedy of Hank and Dawn losing the people closest to them, his relationship with his brother, which was fleshed out, and I know we only got half an episode, but they fleshed this thing out way more than I thought they ever could, so you believed in that relationship, and you even get a hint of her and her mother, and when they lose those very important people, you realize, okay, these two are literally meant for each other, not even in a sexual or relationship kind of way, which is what we get at the end. They're just meant to be in each other's lives. And it's just fate that it happens, and not that what happened to them was good, but it did bring them together, and it did give them the opportunity to become these heroes. And once she found that suit in the closet, I'm like, all right, it's happening. We're getting Hawk and Dove. And it also explains what happened to the original Hawk and Dove that I know from the television show anyway, because Hawk and Dove were, of course, two men, but now we have Hawk and Dove, a guy and a girl, which I really like. I like their dynamic, their relationship. And then you have the aspect of the show that really interested me, Raven coming in, their dreams, and kind of saying, hey, you need to come out of this and help me. At first I'm like, okay, this feels a bit weird, but at the end of the episode, when you realize what they have to do, go get Jason Todd, I'm like, whoa. We are assembling not just the Titans that we know, we're assembling the whole team because we all have to go help Raven out because Starfire is going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So overall, as much as I didn't necessarily need this episode going in, coming out of the episode, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty happy we got it because we got a lot of great character development for two characters that I think are going to play a pretty integral role going forward, and I really liked the backstories here. It seems like an episode that could just kind of halt the momentum. You have to go in here and, oh no, now we have to explore their backstory. But now I know more about them. Now I have a reason to care. It continues to flesh out these side characters, and while I want to go back to focus on the team, which I think, hopefully this time, I've not looked at the name of the episode, hopefully we'll get to go back to that and start exploring the entire thing with Starfire. We now care more about these characters, and they're going to play a role going forward. We got the Jason Todd episode, we got the Doom Patrol, now we know about Hank and Dawn, and I think that is very important in the world of Titans. So what did you guys think about this episode? Were you disappointed? Were you like me, a bit surprised? And at the end of the day, you're looking back going, I'm glad we got this episode. It's pretty cool. And the more I think about the tragedy within the episode and the adult themes that it deals with, the more that I like it. So what did you guys think? Like I said, this is your space to talk Titans, whether it's this episode, the last, or the next. Next week, I'll be back on Friday once again. Today is a busy day for me. I'm going to watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse tonight, so hopefully I'll have my review out for that in the morning. I just reacted to the Avengers Infinity War. I'm sorry, not Infinity War. The Avengers, I'm not going to spoil the title yet, just in case you haven't seen the trailer, but of course you've seen the trailer. And then tomorrow, a review for Bumblebee as well. You guys are the absolute best, and I'll catch you later.